Hi everyone, my name is Kylie Williams, and today for the cultural presentation, I'm doing the country of New Zealand. I picked New Zealand just because you don't hear about it often or learn about it often to know much about it, so I thought it would be a fun and fascinating place to do my presentation on so I can personally learn more about it. New Zealand has one main communication practice, and that is indirect communication. They are heavily influenced by the Maori culture when it comes to their customs and how they speak, but there's also a mix of European and Polynesian cultures in there as well. They try to avoid any form of confrontation or conflict when they're speaking. They like to be more honest and more polite. To help avoid that conflict or confrontation, when they're speaking, you hear them get to the point vaguely, but being honest. So they try to be as polite when they're speaking so that you don't take it the wrong way or feel like they're coming off in a wrong way. It's just how they are, and that's them being more polite with speaking. So, for instance, like requesting things. If you are in America and you're trying to ask somebody to go to the store, you'd most likely hear us just say, "Can you go to the store for me?" That's considered rude and disrespectful in New Zealand. So, you'd probably hear them soften the tone and be more polite when asking, and they'll say something around the lines of, "I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind going to the store for me." They do it to be more polite so that you don't seem like you're being forced to do something. Or in America, if we're talking to each other and I cut you off in talking, that's disrespectful. So they like to have each other finish the sentence, and if there's something they wanted to input on that the other person said, they wait till they're finished speaking and then they backtrack to whatever they wanted to have their input on so that the person doesn't feel disrespected and know that they had the time and the person was invested in the conversation. Some nonverbal communication practices that they practice in New Zealand is they always stand at least an arm's length away from each other. Men typically stand further away from each other than what women do, but it's a sign of respect of giving somebody personal space and that you're not hounding them when you're talking to somebody. They are big on eye contact. Even though some cultures feel like eye contact is disrespectful in New Zealand, a lot of times it shows that you are more emotionally engaged in the conversation, that you're really invested in what you guys are talking about. But the Maori culture does think it is disrespectful sometimes, depending on where you are. So if you see a Maori person looking away when you are having a conversation with them, it's a sign that you should too, because if you're still looking at them, it's considered disrespectful and they would think that you don't respect them. So when they look away, it's a sign that you should just take a break and look away too and break that eye contact. And another one, like America, they are big on handshakes, whether you've known them for a while or you just got to meet them. Handshakes are a constant gesture they do throughout New Zealand. It's just a sign of respect, and they just feel like if you meet somebody and respect them, a handshake solidifies the respect. With that being said, moving on to relational practices, New Zealand is strong cultured. So they believe in their cultures like how any other foreign place does, and is deep rooted into them. So if you go to New Zealand, you should always acknowledge the significant people there, places, and their values and beliefs when they're speaking, and show empathy and respectful language and engage in a respectful way with that conversation. All of this is to maintain the honest and respectful relationship between New Zealand and give you guys peace between us as a foreigner and New Zealand as a country. Different cultures within New Zealand, they take pride in who they are and what they come from. So just showing that you care and are respectful towards them would just make them respect you back. The language you use is like how I mentioned earlier. Don't be disrespectful to them, and don't say anything rude, because in America, how we speak is normally considered disrespectful there. So you need to try to understand how they speak, and if you go to New Zealand, just look up slang and just look up how they speak, because there's some words in America that are considered rude there in general. So it's just nice to rub up on their language and understand how they speak in general before you go there, just so you're not offending somebody and you don't know it. So I hope you enjoy learning about New Zealand, or if you already know New Zealand, learning more about it. And thank you for taking your time to watch my presentation.